the SUMIFS formula. What does it do? Okay, so say I want to sum up the order values where the product category equals furniture. So kind of the equivalent of filtering the data to furniture, but with the added bonus that the number's not going to change if I change the filters and things like that. So let's start with SUMIFS. And first off, it says what's my sum range, which just means that, where are all my numbers really. So that's here, okay? And then it's kind of where's my criteria 1, it's called. So criteria range 1 is my product category. So make sure I highlight the entire column there the same. And then my criteria, my actual criteria as I set, is furniture. So in other words, I'm saying where this column range equals this value, furniture. And there's my 300,000, which is the sum of all the furniture order values. Okay. But there is a top time saving tip on all of that, and that is to turn this into a table, which is Control T. Now I've got it the formatting set up and that, so you might have to play around with defaults yourself, but essentially now that's a table. If I delete that formula, I'll do the whole thing again. So this time I'm going to say SUMIFS, and as long as I'm in that order value column, Control space, it will give you, it will tell me, I want table 2 order value column. And the bonus of that, of course, is that several bonuses, but one is you can read it like a normal English language, but also if any extra data comes on, it's going to pick it up. Next is the product category, which is that, and I say I want it to equal that. Now there's no that's not in a table, so it's not coming up with just still E4. Right, there's my number. But of course there's way more to it than this, because if I want to add in multiple criteria, I can. So what about not just furniture? I want to know if just the subcategory of chairs and chair mats from furniture, and I also want to know, for example, whether any loss-making totals are. So what's the total losses from this area? SUMIFS. So the sum range now is the profit. The product category I'm going to pick up, it needs to equal furniture, and now I can add in extra ranges. So the product subcategory equals chairs and chair mats, and the profit and loss column equals loss. So I've got like multiple criteria in there now. And there we go. And the other thing people don't necessarily realize you can do with the SUMIFS function, and of course, I should say all of this applies to these family functions as well, the MINIFS, MAXIFS, etc. All of them you can put in text-based criteria. Incidentally, all these functions are part of my 33 fantastic functions for Excel cheat sheet. I honestly think these are the only functions you need to build 99% of all the spreadsheets you're ever going to need. So get your hands on that. There's a download link in the description. So if you want to know how many, what's the total order costs that have been greater than 1,000, for example, I can put in SUMIFS, and let's just do one of the other ones. That's just how many orders, so COUNTIFS, and the criteria range is going to be the order cost, and if my criteria, this time I just have to put it in quotes, so I can put greater than 1,000, like that, and I just need to put it in these quotation marks for it to work. I hit that and it says there's 150 of them, and you can get quite clever with this because I could also add further criteria. For example, so if I wanted between 1,000 and 2,000, I could put another criteria saying that it equals that, and this time I want it less than 2,000, and it just so happens I might have to put like 1,200 or something on here, and there's 87. So you can even sort of get in between two numbers using these sorts of functions. So very powerful function, the SUMIFS, and once you know it, you basically know the MINIFS, MAXIFS, averageifs and COUNTIFS functions too. So very, very useful, very, very powerful function in building spreadsheets. Remember that all of these functions are on my 30 free fantastic functions. There's also a library of every single Excel function on the planet with a little description of what it does. Hope that saves you a load of time and effort, and I will see you in the next video shortly.